become more of itself. To achieve this, it divides itself into more and more separate parts or definitions. And it does so because it knows that by dividing and spreading out, it will have more power, and, having more power, it will grow. The force is a part of each and everything in the physical plane. This includes our planet, the stars and galaxies, and the physical universe as it stretches out in space beyond our perceptions. By its very nature, the force is immortal and never-ending, and, because it is the inner light or livingness within all things, we call it universal. The more life force a thing expresses, the more complicated or greater is the extent of the force within it. Therefore, a small bird expresses more of the force than does a rock, and a human being expresses still more than a bird. But everything has the force within it, and that is the key to an individual's understanding. The spiritual energy of your higher self also has the force within it, and it too wants to grow. It began its existence by individualizing from the force, and it realized that, like the force, it could expand by dividing itself into more and more experiences. Among the things it has been are your past lives, but even before it entered your human body, it had various experiences that would help it adjust to the vibrational force of the physical plane. Up to this point, it may have had 20,000 experiences, maybe more. It would have had experiences as energy and light, as electricity and sound, as lesser forms of existence, which allow it to gradually adjust to the earth plane. For the higher self would not enter the university of the physical experience in complex form. It would have to go through energy experiences, much like a kindergarten. It is interesting to think that there is a spiritual evolution in all things, that in the sound of a pebble tumbling over a cliff, or within a flower, there are countless dimensions of evolution, higher selves experiencing training, destined perhaps one day to be human. 600 lifetimes ago, your higher self might have had an experience as a cow, and, bit by bit, learned to adapt its energy to the physical plane. As it learned, it became more courageous. Finally, it felt itself ready to enter the human form, and it did so because, humanity being the highest expression of the force on the earth plane, this was a natural progression for it to make. Now, its first lifetime as a human being was not in a position of great responsibility, such as the president of a multinational company. It was in something simple, a tribal life on the land, or a lifetime in which it could almost stand on the sidelines and observe the goings-on. Interestingly enough, mongoloids and the mentally deficient are two examples of higher selves entering the physical plane for the first time. Their lives are often short. They are usually surrounded by help and love, and little is expected of them. After completing this first lifetime, the spiritual part of you that divided from the higher self to enter into your body drifts back to its source, reviewing its experiences as it goes. This period or dimension between the physical plane and your energy's re-envelopment into the higher self is sometimes called the spirit world. It too is a part of the force's experience, and it too is growing and expanding, as are the spiritual energies that find themselves in that dimension. The spirit world consists of thought forms and energy from the force that vitalizes it. The thought patterns that you project into the spirit world are what you will experience. If you die as a Muslim, you will see mosques and minarets, and the spirits evolving around you will be Muslims. You will have a feeling that the spirit world consists only of Muslims. By being dogmatic about your beliefs, you see only what you believe in, and so the spirit world has a nice way of making everybody right. The nature of that world is such that your thoughts and feelings are instantly magnified around you. Therefore, if you enter the spirit world in turmoil, you experience a heightened form of that thought pattern, and an observer would say, subjectively, that you are in hell. Conversely, if your life is in balance at the time you separate from the physical body, you enter a spirit world of peace, harmony, and great beauty, and an observer would say, subjectively, that you are in heaven. It is the nature of the vibrancy of the spirit world that has led to stories of heaven and hell being incorporated into the belief patterns of many religions. When you enter the spirit world, your external experiences are in fact manifestations